Hi, so it's time for Wednesday night story time, and we're going to enjoy a story about the moon. It's called Beautiful Moon, and then we're going to hear it in Spanish too. Let's enjoy.
The sun sets. The grass is cool. I look into the dark indigo night and see the glow of the beautiful moon. But I am restless in the darkness. There is still so much to do. I need a day that never ends. The moon flashes a smile. In a wink, the sky begins to peel away. I take an edge of the nighttime sky. I pull until the sky is full of light. The sun wraps its warmth around me. I run and swim and eat and play. Birds chirp, animals roam, flowers stretch in the sunlight. I play until I am too tired to go on. I sit to rest and look around me. Something is very wrong. The trees hang low from too much sun. The grass turns brown in the constant heat. I am tired but can get no rest. I always wanted a day that never ended, but now I know better. Nighttime is the time for rest, a time to gain energy for a new day. The sun smiles. In a wink, the bright sky turns back into a blanket of indigo. The moon smiles, and in a wink, the stars sparkle, the animals rest, the trees and flowers cool. The sun sets, the grass is cool. I look into the dark indigo night and see the glow of the beautiful moon. Life is as it should be, just me and my beautiful moon. The end.
So, did you ever think about what would happen if you had a day and the sun didn't go down? You could be having fun and playing all day long. It seems like it might be a good idea if you're a child and sun's out, but eventually, what happens? Eventually, you get tired and then you want to get sleep. You want to go to sleep. It's not as easy going to sleep in the light, broad light. So we're also going to hear the same story in Spanish for those who speak Spanish. Let's enjoy.
El sol se pone La hierba está fresca. Miro la noche de un índigo oscuro y veo el resplandor de la bella luna. Pero estoy inquieta en la oscuridad. Todavía hay mucho que hacer. Necesito un día que nunca termine. La luna me dirige una sonrisa. De pronto, una esquina del cielo se levanta. Agarro un borde del cielo nocturno. Tiro de él hasta que el cielo se llena de luz. El sol me envuelve con su calor. Corro y nado y como y juego. Los pájaros trinan, los animales corretean, las flores se desperezan bajo la luz del sol. Juego hasta que ya no puedo más. Me siento a descansar y miro a mi alrededor. Algo no está bien. Los árboles se encorvan por tanto sol. La hierba se torna marrón bajo el calor constante. Estoy cansada, pero no puedo descansar. Siempre quise que el día no terminara nunca, pero ahora comprendo algo. La noche es para descansar, el momento de obtener energía para un nuevo día. El sol sonríe. De pronto, el cielo brillante se convierte en una manta índigo. La luna sonríe y de pronto las estrellas centellean, los animales descansan, los árboles y las flores se refrescan. El sol se pone, la hierba está fresca. Miro la noche de un índigo oscuro y veo el resplandor de la bella luna. La vida es como debe ser, solo yo y mi bella luna. El fin.
So what do you think of being able to hear the same story? In Tumble Books, and it has two languages, so you can hear the story in English as well as Spanish. So we also have another story. It's all about best friends, and they're having a bit of trouble. So let's see what best friends do when they're having trouble.
When Lizzie threw her ball, it flew up and up over the fence at the end of Hannah's yard. "Ha!" Lizzie said. "I bet you can't throw yours that far." "Oh, yes, I can," said Hannah. She took a deep breath and threw as hard as she could. The ball went high into the air, but plopped down on the grass before it reached the fence. "See," said Lizzie, "I told you so." Hannah stomped into the house and slammed the door. No one was in the kitchen, but loud noises were coming from the basement. Hannah found her big brother Josh down there, building birdhouses. "What's up?" he said. "I thought you were playing with Lizzie in the yard." "Lizzie," said Hannah. "Ha!" She sat on the workbench and sighed. "I thought you two were friends," said Josh. "Not any more," said Hannah. "Lizzie brags. She said she could throw the ball farther than I could." "And did she?" "She did," said Hannah, "but the sun was in my eyes, so it wasn't fair. She says she can swing higher than I can, too. Well, can she? Asked Josh. No, said Hannah. She always starts before I have a chance to pump my feet. Sounds like best friend trouble to me, said Josh. Maybe you can pound in a few nails. That will make you feel better. He gave Hannah a hammer, a block of wood, and a handful of nails. Wham! 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 Hannah pounded the nails into the wood. Josh was right. She did feel a bit better. She decided to look for her dad. Her dad was in the living room practicing for a concert that evening. Hannah came in to listen. She sighed a long, drawn-out sigh that stretched as long as the note her dad played on his clarinet. The music stopped. I thought you were playing outside with Lizzie, her dad said. Not anymore, said Hannah. Do you know what Lizzie said? No, but I guess you're going to tell me, said her dad. She said I'm not allowed to sing in her backyard. But when she's in our yard, she hollers like an old crow. I think I've heard crows singing in both yards, said Hannah's dad. Sounds like best friend trouble to me. She's not my best friend, said Hannah. She's mean and she makes me tired. Why don't you dig into the music box, said her dad. Choose any instrument you like. Hannah dug into the box and chose 2 sets of finger cymbals. She slipped her fingers through the elastic loops on the back of the cymbals. She clanged the cymbals together until they rang out loudly. Music made her feel even better. She decided to look for her mom. Her mom was working in the study. Mom, said Hannah, do you remember when I went to Lizzie's for lunch yesterday? I remember, said her mom. Well, Lizzie was chewing with her mouth open, and when I told her she didn't have good manners, she called me a dum-dum. Maybe Lizzie was hoping you hadn't noticed the way she was chewing, said her mom. Sounds like best friend trouble to me. She's not my best friend, said Hannah. I don't need a best friend. Here, said her mom. Why don't you sit at the end of my desk and draw a picture? Maybe you could give the picture to Lizzie and be friends again. Hannah chose a large sheet of paper and a bright orange crayon. She drew a picture of Lizzie wearing a silly-looking dress. She covered the dress with orange balloons and gave Lizzie clunky shoes and wild orange hair. It was such a silly drawing it made Hannah laugh and laugh. She decided she'd better not give the picture to Lizzie. Because she wasn't finished complaining, Hannah went upstairs to check on her hamster, Octavia. Octavia had been given her name because she liked to do everything 8 times. Hannah sat on the edge of the bed while Octavia tore a piece of newspaper into 8 tiny strips. At school the other day, she told Octavia, Lizzie said she might pick Tate to be her best friend instead of me. Octavia gnawed, as if she were listening carefully. And that's not all. Lizzie says her dog Lulu is smarter than you. Octavia glared, then filled the pouches in her cheeks with 8 seeds. Hannah went to the window and looked down into Lizzie's yard next door. Lizzie was sitting all alone on her back step. Hannah went downstairs and out the front door. She sat all alone on her front step. That Lizzie, she muttered. She makes me feel like shouting. If Mom tells me to wear a jacket, Lizzie is allowed to wear short sleeves. If I have to come in, Lizzie is allowed to stay out. Her birthday is even before mine, and she gets to turn 6 before I do. What did you say? Said Lizzie. She was peeking around the corner of Hannah's house. I said go away, said Hannah. I'm tired of having a best friend. We could play again, said Lizzie. You could wiggle my loose tooth. No thanks, said Hannah. I have a loose tooth of my own. Anyway, you're mean. You were mean to me, too, said Lizzie. When? When the training wheels came off your bike, said Lizzie. You called me a baby because mine are still on. Oh, said Hannah. I forgot about the bike. You ran ahead on the way home from kindergarten, too, said Lizzie, even after I asked you to wait. You could have run, too, said Hannah. You always win, said Lizzie. You're a faster runner. I am? Said Hannah. She thought for a moment. So I am good at some things, and you are good at others. Maybe we can be friends after all. Best friends? Said Lizzie. Why not? Said Hannah. We might argue again, said Lizzie. I know, said Hannah. They sat on the step and thought about this. Do you want to play ball again? Said Lizzie. Not right now, said Hannah. Let's play something nobody's better at. How about pretending? We could pretend to be best friend monsters. We could be monster partners, said Hannah. That sounds like fun, said Lizzie. They went into Hannah's house and up to her room. Octavia was so happy to see them, she ran around her wheel 8 times and did a belly flop. Hannah and Lizzie lifted the lid of the craft table and reached inside. They filled their arms with paper, crayons, paints, and brushes and carried everything downstairs to the kitchen table. They began to make monster masks. Hannah and Lizzie cut and pasted and colored and painted. While they helped each other and fixed their masks, they sang and sang. Everyone in the house could hear them. The 2 best friends sang so hard, they sounded like 2 loud and happy crows.
So, what do you think about the best friend's trouble? Did you like this story? I thought it was interesting how, yeah, she was really complaining about her best friend and all these horrible things, and then um, her best friend said, "Well, actually, you do." She did similar kinds of things too. It was also interesting how they resolved the problem. So, well, we're both good, but at different things. And so instead of competing, like trying to throw the ball the farthest or competing in any way, they suggest they just make best friend monster masks so they didn't have to compete. And then they just sang and had fun, did something that wasn't competitive. So it was a good story. Interesting how they talked you through. I hope you enjoyed these 2 stories. Leave a comment on Facebook what you thought of them, and hope you can join us tomorrow for healthy schools, healthy communities at 2 o'clock, and then 3:30 is Grandma reads a story. So hope to see you tomorrow. Goodbye, Bonnie Mulder. This is Bonnie Mulder from the County Public Library, wishing you a healthy and happy day.